What if I told you that the pain you carry right now, the fear in your mind, the heaviness in your heart, the lack in your life, is not permanent but only a shadow of thought? What if I told you that a single whisper into your own heart could dissolve the pain, remove the burden, and set you free into health, wealth, and peace beyond all understanding? Do you believe that the infinite power of God moving through your subconscious mind can restore, renew, and make all things new? Tonight, as you listen, you will discover that nothing is stronger than the word you plant into your own soul. And when you whisper truth into your heart, pain must obey, darkness must flee, and abundance must rush toward you as the river of life itself. What if I told you that within the silence of your own soul there is a voice, soft as a whisper, yet strong enough to move the mountains of fear, sickness, and poverty? What if I told you that the words you speak into your heart are seeds of destiny, and tonight those seeds can blossom into health, wealth, and radiant peace? Beloved, listen carefully, for you are standing at the threshold of a great inner discovery. Your subconscious mind is the fertile ground of God's infinite supply, and whatever word you plant in it, the law of life will make manifest. Whisper this into your heart, and the pain will leave, because pain is not real in the eternal sense. It is only the echo of false belief, the residue of fear impressed upon your subconscious. The eternal truth is that you are whole, you are free, and you are supplied by the riches of heaven. The scriptures declare, "It is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom." Luke 12:32. That kingdom is within you. The kingdom is health. The kingdom is abundance. The kingdom is radiant joy, and it is waiting to be spoken into form through your faith. The law of your mind is simple. As within, so without. As you whisper peace into your heart, peace manifests in your body. As you affirm abundance, your bank account overflows with divine increase. As you accept love, love surrounds you in every relationship. You are never the victim of circumstance. You are the architect of your reality. For as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. The whisper of truth overrides the loudest noise of fear, for God speaks not in the earthquake nor in the fire, but in the still small voice of spirit within you. Tonight, as you breathe, imagine that every word you hear is entering into the soil of your subconscious. Picture your mind as a sacred garden, and every whisper of truth as a golden seed. When you affirm, "I am whole, I am free, I am supplied," that seed falls deep into the soil of spirit, and in due season it springs forth as radiant health, overflowing wealth, and divine harmony. Florence Scovel Shinn, that great teacher of divine law, declared, "Your word is your wand. Speak it, believe it, and watch it create miracles in your world." Many suffer needlessly because they whisper pain instead of peace, fear instead of faith. They rehearse their failures in the theater of the mind and wonder why life yields them nothing but sorrow. But you, beloved, are awakening to a new law, the law of substitution. You can uproot every false belief by planting its opposite truth. Whisper strength where you once declared weakness. Whisper abundance where you once affirmed lack. Whisper joy where you once yielded to despair. And the subconscious mind, being impersonal and faithful, will always reproduce the seed it receives. Consider this. Neville Goddard taught that imagination is the gateway of reality. To whisper into your heart is to imagine vividly, to feel the end as real, and to know it must come to pass. When you close your eyes and say, "I am healed," you must also feel the joy of already being healed. When you whisper, "Money flows to me like a mighty river," you must see yourself holding the check, walking into the bank, feeling the security of supply. The subconscious knows only the language of feeling, and your whisper, clothed in emotion, becomes the decree that creates. Napoleon Hill reminded us, "Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve." Your whisper is that conception, your faith is the belief, and the Spirit of God in you is the achieving power. Never say, "I am poor," for by your words you bind yourself to poverty. Whisper instead, "The riches of heaven flow through me, and money comes to me in avalanches of abundance." Never say, "I am sick," for by that word you impress sickness upon your flesh. Whisper instead, "The life of God animates every cell of my body, and I am made whole now." Never say, "I am unloved," for you plant rejection into the soil of life. Whisper instead, "I am surrounded by divine love, and I radiate love wherever I go." Carl Jung saw the subconscious as the great storehouse of archetypes, the deep well of the collective soul. He perceived that the hidden mind governs the patterns of human destiny. What you whisper into your heart is not only personal, it resonates with the collective and calls forth realities from the unseen. This is why your word is sacred. This is why your whisper carries eternal consequence. Beloved, imagine now that pain, whether of the body, the heart, or the finances, is but a shadow cast by ignorance. As soon as you turn the light of truth toward it, the shadow disappears. Whisper this: I am the light of God's perfect peace, and pain has no dwelling in me. Feel it as you say it. Let the whisper echo within your chest, vibrating into every nerve, every organ, every thought, and the law of the subconscious will obey. Many cry out, but I have whispered for years and nothing has changed. To them I say, the law is faithful. The seed takes time to germinate, to push through the soil, to bear fruit. You may not see the change immediately, but beneath the surface the roots are spreading. Do not dig up your seed with doubt. Water it daily with affirmation. Shine the sunlight of gratitude upon it. And in the appointed hour you will see your harvest, pressed down, shaken together, running over. Do not measure your progress by appearances. Appearances deceive, but truth abides. Judge not by the withered leaves of today, for the sap of divine life flows invisibly, and new blossoms will soon appear. Whisper faith and hold fast. Whisper abundance and expect increase. Whisper love and watch it multiply. The subconscious does not fail, it only obeys. Let me tell you of a woman who once came to me broken in health and finances. She whispered daily, God is my instant and everlasting supply. I am healed, I am whole, I am free. Her conscious mind rebelled, for the bills piled high and her body ached, but she persisted. She whispered as she walked. She whispered as she lay down to sleep. She whispered into her very heart. One morning she awoke with a peace she had never known. That same week, a business opportunity opened before her and money flowed like a river. Her health returned and she lived with joy until her last days. Such is the power of a whisper clothed in faith. Do you see, beloved, the whisper is not weak. The whisper is the still small voice of God, which shatters the mountains of fear and calls forth the valleys of blessing. Tonight, as you whisper into your heart, know that you are impressing the law of spirit. Your subconscious will magnify it, your world will reflect it, and your life will be transformed by it. Whisper truth and pain must leave. Whisper abundance and wealth must appear. Whisper love and harmony must surround you. And so, as you listen now, let every breath carry the silent decree. I am whole, I am free, I am supplied. Whisper it into your heart not once but continuously until it becomes the song of your soul. And when it does, the outer world will bow to the inner law and you will walk in the garden of answered prayer. Beloved, remember this eternal law. The infinite riches of the subconscious are yours for the claiming. Whisper into your heart and you whisper into the very ear of God. What you declare in the silence is shouted back to you in the marketplace of life. What you plant in the inner soil becomes the harvest of your days. Tonight whisper peace, whisper abundance, whisper joy. And behold, the pain shall leave, the chains shall fall, and you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Beloved, the whisper of truth that you place within your heart is not merely a sound, it is vibration, it is spirit, it is creative law. Words are not empty. Words are clothed with energy, charged with thought, and wrapped in feeling. They carry the spark of the infinite. When you whisper, I am whole, that whisper is not small. It is the eternal decree of God flowing through your subconscious, and the law of life cannot deny it. Your subconscious is like rich soil. Whatever seed you plant must grow. If you whisper fear, you harvest fear. If you whisper faith, you harvest miracles. Always sowing and reaping moment by moment, word by word, thought by thought. The subconscious is the book of life. Every thought is written on its pages. Every word is engraved upon its heart. And because the subconscious governs your body, your finances, your relationships, what you write upon it appears in your daily experience. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Proverbs 18:21. This is not mere poetry, it is law. If you whisper lack, lack must come. If you whisper abundance, abundance must flow. Your whisper, beloved, is your wand, your rod of power, your scepter of authority. When you whisper truth into your heart, you align yourself with the great creative word that was spoken in the beginning, let there be light. That whisper brought forth suns and galaxies, stars and rivers, mountains and seas. And the same word dwells in you. Whisper, let there be health, and health appears. Whisper, let there be wealth, and wealth is called forth from the unseen. Whisper, let there be peace, and peace floods your mind and household. The whisper is the key, because the subconscious responds not to shouting but to quiet, steady conviction. You may wonder, how can such a soft word carry such immense power? It is because the whisper bypasses resistance. The conscious mind filled with doubt may argue against the loud declaration, but the whisper repeated in faith slips past the guard of reason and penetrates the heart. Once it lodges in the subconscious, it multiplies like a seed in fertile soil. This is why Neville Goddard declared, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. The whisper is assumption in action. It is the secret entry into the treasury of the subconscious. Let us take an example. Suppose a man is burdened with debt. His conscious mind cries, I cannot pay these bills. But he begins to whisper softly, God is my instant and everlasting supply. Money flows to me freely, abundantly, joyously. At first his conscious mind rebels. It is not true, it says. But night after night he whispers it. Morning after morning he repeats it. As he walks, as he rests, he whispers, I am abundantly supplied. Soon the subconscious accepts it. Ideas flow into his mind. Opportunities appear. An unexpected check arrives. Doors once closed swing open. The whisper has become flesh. So it is with health. A woman plagued with chronic pain whispers, the life of God flows through me now. Every cell sings with health. Every organ shines with light. Her conscious mind protests, but the pain is still there. Yet she persists. She whispers in the silence of the night. She whispers upon waking. She whispers into her very heart, and gradually the pain subsides. Her body obeys the new decree, for the subconscious knows no difference between truth and falsehood. It only accepts what is impressed upon it with faith. You may say, I have whispered, but nothing happens. Then whisper again. Whisper not with anxiety, but with quiet confidence. The law is exact. If you plant an acorn, you reap an oak, not a rose. If you whisper abundance, you cannot reap poverty. The time of harvest belongs to God, but the seed is always true to itself. Your task is not to force, but to impress, not to demand, but to believe. Napoleon Hill taught persistence as the golden key to riches. He declared that riches come to those who refuse to quit, to those who continue despite delay. The whisper is persistence embodied. Day after day you plant the seed, night after night you water it, and in due season the harvest breaks forth. What others call miracles are but the natural fruits of whispered truth. Carl Jung spoke of the shadow, those unconscious patterns that haunt us with fear, guilt, and failure. The whisper of truth dissolves the shadow, for the light of spirit penetrates the deepest recesses of the subconscious. When you whisper, I am whole, I am loved, I am supplied, the shadow shrinks and the divine archetype of health, love, and abundance rises to the surface. The whisper redeems the unconscious and restores you to harmony. Beloved, never despise the small whisper. Do not say, this is too little, I need something stronger. For the mustard seed is small, yet it grows into the greatest of trees. The whisper is the mustard seed of the word. Planted faithfully, it will move mountains. Christ himself said, If ye have faith as a grain of mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, Remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove. Matthew 17:20. Your whisper is that seed, and your mountain must obey. As you listen now, let your own heart become the temple of the whisper. Imagine the altar of your subconscious glowing with divine light. Approach it with reverence and speak softly. Peace, be still. Abundance is mine. Health is mine. Love surrounds me. Let the whisper echo until it fills every chamber of your being. And know that God, the infinite Spirit, hears it instantly and moves through you to bring it to pass. Even now, as you sit in stillness, the law of your mind is working. Your heart is receiving the seed. Pain is dissolving. Fear is retreating. Lack is vanishing. The whisper has gone forth, and it shall not return void. It shall accomplish that which you please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto you send it. This is the law of God, and this law is unfailing. Therefore, beloved, do not measure the whisper by its volume, but by its faith. The quietest word of truth is louder in heaven than the noisiest cry of fear. Whisper into your heart, and know that the infinite has already answered. Whisper into your heart, and behold the new life springing forth. Whisper into your heart, and the pain must leave, the chains must fall, the darkness must scatter. For the whisper is God's own voice in you, speaking creation into being once again. Beloved, understand this. When you whisper truth into your heart, you are not begging some distant deity to intervene. You are awakening the infinite presence already within you. God is nearer than your own breath, closer than your own heartbeat. The whisper is not a cry into the void. It is a decree spoken directly into the subconscious, the dwelling place of spirit. And spirit responds unfailingly, for the kingdom of God is within you. Luke 17:21. Every whisper carries an image. Words clothe themselves with pictures in the mind, and those pictures are the blueprints of your future. If you whisper, I am poor, you sketch poverty in the unseen, and life dutifully builds it. But if you whisper, I am rich with God's supply, you sketch abundance, and the law of life builds prosperity around you. The subconscious mind is the great builder. It does not argue, it does not question, it only constructs. And the material it uses is the word and the feeling you whisper into it. Neville Goddard declared, feeling is the secret. When you whisper into your heart, whisper not mechanically but with deep emotion, as though the thing desired is already yours. If you whisper healing, feel the joy of health already in your body. If you whisper wealth, feel the security of money in your hands. If you whisper love, feel the warmth of affection surrounding you now. The subconscious responds to feeling as fire responds to fuel. Your whisper becomes a blazing reality when clothed in conviction. The Bible teaches, let the weak say, I am strong, Joel 3:10. Notice it does not say, let the weak complain of weakness. It says, let the weak say, I am strong. The whisper is the law of reversal. When fear says, I cannot, whisper instead, I can do all things through Christ which strengtheneth me, Philippians 4:13. When lack says, there is not enough, whisper instead, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Psalm 23:1. When sickness says, you are finished, whisper instead, with long life will he satisfy me and show me his salvation. Psalm 91:16. In the whisper you cancel the lie and establish the truth. Napoleon Hill told us, you are the master of your fate, the captain of your soul. How do you master fate? How do you steer the ship of your soul? By the rudder of your word. The whisper is that rudder. A ship may be vast, tossed by waves and storms, but the rudder directs it with quiet, steady force. So it is with your life. Circumstances may rage, storms may howl, appearances may terrify, but the whisper within directs the course. Steady your whisper, and your life will sail toward abundance, health, and peace. Carl Jung observed that the unconscious holds the symbols of transformation. The whisper is the alchemical word that transmutes lead into gold. When you whisper, I am free, the chains of the unconscious begin to dissolve. When you whisper, I am loved, the inner child is healed. When you whisper, I am prosperous, the archetype of wealth rises from the depths and manifests in form. Your whisper is the spark that ignites the great transformation of the soul. Consider a man who whispered daily, I am successful, I am divinely guided, opportunities flow to me. At first he saw no change. His conscious mind mocked him. His outer world remained barren, but he persisted. He whispered on walks in silence before sleep. One day an idea dropped into his mind like a seed from heaven. He acted on it, and a business was born. That business multiplied, and soon he was a man of influence and prosperity. He confessed, the whisper was my turning point. I spoke it until my subconscious believed it, and once it believed, the world conformed. So too with healing. A woman whispered, God's river of life flows through me. Every nerve, muscle, and cell is bathed in divine light. Though her diagnosis was grim, she refused to whisper fear. She whispered life. And slowly, steadily, her body renewed itself. Doctors marveled. She smiled and said, it was the whisper of truth that healed me. Beloved, never underestimate the power of repetition. The conscious mind forgets, but the subconscious never forgets. What you whisper today, you build tomorrow. Therefore, guard your whispers. Let no idle words slip into your heart. Speak not of failure, for failure will take root. Whisper not of misery, for misery will multiply. Instead, whisper life, whisper truth, whisper abundance, until your whole being vibrates with the song of victory. Florence Scovel Shinn proclaimed, "Your word is your wand. What you whisper, you wave as a wand over your life. Whisper health, and your body obeys. Whisper wealth, and your finances increase. Whisper joy, and your atmosphere changes. Whisper faith, and the impossible bows before you." The whisper is divine magic, not superstition, but law. It is the creative law of spirit operating through the subconscious, exact, unfailing, irresistible. Beloved, even now, whisper within yourself, "I am whole. I am free. I am rich with God's supply. I am guided, guarded, and divinely prospered." Let these words sink into your soul. Whisper them as if your very life depends on it, because it does. For as you whisper, so shall you live. And as you do, know this: every whisper of truth dissolves a shadow of pain. Every whisper of abundance cancels a lie of lack. Every whisper of peace silences a storm of fear. And every whisper of love scatters the darkness of loneliness. Whisper this into your heart, beloved, and the pain must leave. Whisper this and the light must appear. Whisper this and you will walk in the radiant freedom of the sons and daughters of God. Beloved, listen closely. For the whisper you speak into your heart is the eternal key that unlocks the treasury of heaven. Within you lies the infinite storehouse of wisdom, health, riches, and love. This treasure does not belong to tomorrow, it belongs to now. But it must be claimed, it must be spoken, it must be whispered into your own soul until the subconscious accepts it as reality. The truth is not afar off, the truth is within you, and when you whisper it with conviction, the law of life responds with unfailing certainty. Have you not read, "Let the redeemed of the Lord say so"? Psalm 107:2. To whisper is to say so, to declare, to affirm, to speak into the silence with the authority of God's word. Many remain bound because they whisper doubt. They rehearse their sickness, they magnify their debt, they glorify their sorrow, and as they whisper, so it becomes. But you, beloved, are called to a higher law. You are called to whisper only truth, only light, only abundance. For whatsoever things are true, think on these things. Philippians chapter 4:8. The whisper is a command to the subconscious. The subconscious is like a faithful servant, unquestioning, tireless, obedient. It does not argue. It does not reason. It only accepts. If you whisper, "I cannot," it obeys with limitation. If you whisper, "I can," it obeys with strength. If you whisper, "I am poor," it obeys with poverty. If you whisper, "I am rich," it obeys with supply. The lay was impersonal, like electricity. It yields light or darkness depending on how you direct it. The whisper is the switch. Neville Goddard insisted that your assumption sustained in feeling creates fact. The whisper is assumption made flesh. When you whisper, "I am successful," you are assuming success within. The subconscious receives it and projects it outward until the world itself bends to your decree. This is no fantasy, this is law. The subconscious builds the conditions of your life from the blueprint of your whispers. Napoleon Hill declared, "A burning desire backed by faith knows no such word as impossible." The whisper is the voice of that burning desire. Speak it daily, and faith will ignite it into form. Do not murmur of obstacles. Whisper of victory. Do not sigh of impossibility. Whisper of fulfillment. The whisper is stronger than any obstacle, for it moves the unseen forces of life. What you whisper in the chamber of your soul becomes the decree of heaven, and all things conspire to bring it forth. Carl Jung revealed that symbols and archetypes lie deep within the unconscious. Your whisper awakens those archetypes. Whisper, "I am whole," and the archetype of health rises from the depths, clothing itself in your body. Whisper, "I am prosperous," and the archetype of the wealthy man or woman emerges, directing your actions and attracting opportunity. Whisper, "I am loved," and the archetype of union blossoms, drawing to you companions and friends. The whisper awakens the eternal images of the soul. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "There is a supply for every demand." Whispering is demanding without struggle. It is asking in faith, believing that you have received. Christ declared, "What things soever ye desire when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them." Mark 11:24. The whisper is that prayer. It is not noisy. It does not beg. It simply knows, and in knowing it creates. Beloved, think of the whisper as the gentle stream that carves the rock. Loud rivers roar and crash, but it is the constant quiet stream that shapes the canyon. So too your whisper shapes your destiny. Daily, silently, consistently, it engraves truth upon the subconscious until nothing can erase it. Do not despise the day of small beginnings. Do not say, "This whisper is too small," for the still small voice carries the thunder of heaven. Now whisper within yourself, "I am guided, I am supplied, I am at peace. The life of God flows through me, renewing me now." Whisper it again, "I am prosperous. Money comes to me freely, abundantly, joyously." Whisper it until your whole being resonates with the song of truth. Let it be the rhythm of your breathing, the pulse of your heart, the meditation of your soul. Even now, as you hear these words, pain is dissolving, fear is retreating, doors are opening, and opportunities are appearing. Why? Because the whisper is working, the subconscious has received the seed, and the law of life is bringing it forth. Trust it. Do not uproot it with doubt. Do not sabotage it with contradiction. Speak only truth. Whisper only abundance. Hold fast to the eternal law. As you whisper, so shall you experience. Beloved, never forget, God does not shout, God whispers. The infinite speaks in the quiet of your heart. When you whisper truth, you are echoing God's own word, and that word shall not return void. It shall heal, it shall prosper, it shall bless, it shall set you free. Tonight, whisper this into your heart. I and my Father are one. His riches are my riches. His life is my life. His love is my love. Whisper it and know that the kingdom of heaven is yours now. And so the pain leaves, the fear dissolves, the lack vanishes as you whisper truth into your soul. For the whisper is the seed of eternity, and eternity is now. Whisper this into your heart, beloved, and behold the miracle unfold. Beloved, hear me now. The whisper you speak into your heart is the invisible architect of your destiny. Every outer form you see in your life today began as an inner word, an inner image, a whispered thought. Nothing happens by chance. Nothing is accidental. Your subconscious is a perfect mirror, reflecting back the whispers you impress upon it. If you whisper fear, it reflects fear. If you whisper faith, it reflects abundance. If you whisper sickness, it reflects sickness. If you whisper health, it reflects radiant vitality. The law is exact and unerring. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Galatians 6:7. Your whisper is the seed. Your life is the harvest. Why is the whisper so powerful? Because it is intimate. It bypasses the noise of the outer world and enters into the secret chamber of the heart. Christ himself said, "When thou prayest, enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, pray to thy Father which is in secret." Matthew 6:6. The closet is the silence of your heart. The door is the shutting out of appearances. The prayer is the whisper. And the Father in secret, your subconscious, rewards you openly. Do not think that you must shout to move God. Do not think that you must strive and struggle. God is not deaf. God is not reluctant. God is the stillness within you, and the whisper is his language. When you say, "I am free," heaven hears and responds. When you whisper, "I am prosperous," the law of supply begins its work. When you whisper, "I am healed," the life force flows into every atom and cell. The whisper is the secret code that unlocks the infinite. Neville Goddard insisted that imagination creates reality. The whisper, beloved, is imagination clothed in sound. When you whisper wealth, you imagine wealth. When you whisper healing, you imagine health. And the subconscious, faithful to its design, reproduces what you imagine and affirm. This is why Neville taught to live in the end, to feel as though the wish fulfilled is already real. Whisper as though it is done, and it shall be done unto you. Napoleon Hill said, "Faith is the only known antidote for failure." The whisper is faith spoken into the subconscious. It is faith refusing to be silenced by appearances. You may have no money, but whisper, "I am wealthy," and hold to it. You may feel weak, but whisper, "I am strong," and persist. You may feel alone, but whisper, "I am loved," and believe. Faith is not noise, faith is conviction, and conviction whispered daily becomes the miracle of tomorrow. Carl Jung declared that the psyche is not merely personal but collective. When you whisper truth, you are not only transforming your own life, you are adding light to the collective soul of humanity. Your whisper radiates into the unseen, touching others, shifting atmospheres, changing destinies. This is why your whisper matters. It is not small, it is cosmic, it is eternal. Florence Scovel Shinn, that prophetess of divine law, said, "Your word is your wand. The words you speak create your reality." The whisper is the wand waved in silence. Whisper health and health appears. Whisper wealth and wealth rushes to meet you. Whisper joy and sorrow vanishes like a shadow. Whisper truth and error dissolves. The whisper is the magic of God's law, not superstition, but the mathematics of spirit. Beloved, do not whisper once and forget. Whisper daily, whisper hourly, whisper continually, until your subconscious is saturated with truth. Let the whisper be your song in the night and your breath in the morning. As you walk, whisper. As you rest, whisper. As you face challenges, whisper. As you rejoice, whisper. For the whisper is your constant communion with the infinite. I say to you now, whisper this into your heart. The riches of heaven are mine. The life of God flows through me. Divine love surrounds me. I am guided, I am protected, I am blessed beyond measure. Whisper it softly but with conviction. Feel it as real, see it as done, know it as truth, and watch as your subconscious, that faithful servant, brings it forth in due season. Remember, beloved, pain cannot withstand the whisper of truth. Fear cannot survive the whisper of faith. Lack cannot resist the whisper of abundance. Loneliness cannot endure the whisper of love. The whisper is the eternal remedy, the divine prescription, the healing word. Whisper it, believe it, live it, and behold the miracle of transformation. For the word is very nigh unto thee, in thy mouth and in thy heart, that thou mayest do it. Deuteronomy 30:14. The whisper is already in your mouth. Place it in your heart. And as you do, know that the infinite responds instantly, unfailingly, and abundantly. Whisper this into your heart, and the pain must leave. Whisper this, and the light must dawn. Whisper this, and the riches of heaven will flood your life with blessing beyond measure. Beloved, the whisper you speak into your heart is the very breath of creation moving through you. Do you realize that every empire, every invention, every masterpiece of music or art, every fortune ever built began as a whisper within someone's soul? The whisper is the seed of destiny. The whisper is the spark of divinity. The whisper is the invisible cause of every visible effect. And tonight I say to you with divine authority, your whisper can remake your world. Do not say, "I am too late. I am too old. I have failed too many times." Those are whispers of fear. Cancel them now. Whisper instead, "The Lord renews my youth like the eagles. My past is wiped away, and today I begin anew." Do not whisper defeat, for the subconscious magnifies what it hears. Whisper victory, and life will yield you triumph. Do not whisper despair, for despair builds a prison around the heart. Whisper hope, and the prison doors fly open. For as you whisper, the universe bends to your decree. Christ declared, "By thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned." Matthew 12:37. Justified or condemned, not by the world, not by fate, but by your words. The whisper is your judgment. Speak rightly, and life justifies you with blessing. Speak falsely, and life condemns you with sorrow. The law is impartial. The law is exact. The law cannot be broken, but you can align with it, and when you do, every whisper becomes a blessing. Neville Goddard taught that the imagination is the Christ within, the creative word made flesh. The whisper is imagination clothed in sound. Whisper, "I am wealthy," and imagine yourself wealthy. Whisper, "I am healed," and imagine yourself strong. Whisper, "I am loved," and imagine yourself embraced. When you whisper with feeling, you embody the end, and the subconscious fulfills it. This is why he said, "Dare to assume it is true, and it will become true." The whisper is daring to assume. Look into your own life. Every sorrow, every joy, every gain, every loss, all of it began as a word, a thought, a whisper impressed upon the inner mind. And the glorious news is this: you can begin again this very moment. Whisper health, and health shall spring forth speedily. Whisper wealth, and abundance shall rush to meet you. Whisper love, and the arms of affection shall surround you. Whisper peace, and storms within and without shall be stilled. For the law of life is exact. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. Never again say, "I am bound," for the whisper of bondage creates chains. Whisper instead, "The Spirit of the Lord has made me free. Never again say, I am poor, for the whisper of poverty multiplies lack. Whisper instead, the riches of heaven flow to me in rivers of gold. Never again say, I am sick, for the whisper of sickness breeds disease. Whisper instead, the life of God flows through me as radiant health. Never again say, I am unloved, for the whisper of loneliness isolates the soul. Whisper instead, I am divinely loved, divinely wanted, divinely cherished. Whisper these things, and heaven itself moves to fulfill your decree. Remember the teaching of Christ. It is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Luke 12:32. Not reluctantly, not sparingly, but with joy. The kingdom is yours. Health, wealth, peace, love, success. Whisper it into your heart and claim your inheritance now. Do not postpone. Do not delay. Whisper and receive. Whisper and believe. Whisper and live in the fullness of God's abundance. Neville Goddard would say, live in the end. Live as though your whispered desire is already fulfilled. Napoleon Hill would urge you to persist, to refuse to quit, to hold fast to faith until riches appear. Florence Scovel Shinn would remind you, your word is your wand. Carl Jung would point to the deep archetypes of wholeness waiting in the unconscious, ready to emerge at your command. And I, Joseph Murphy, tell you this, the whisper is the master key. Use it, and the treasures of heaven are unlocked for you. Beloved, whisper now, I am whole, I am free, I am abundant, I am loved, I am one with God. Whisper it gently, whisper it with faith, whisper it as the truth of your soul. Let it sink deep into your subconscious and watch as the world around you bends to the whisper within. For every whisper of truth is a ray of light. Every whisper of abundance is a stream of wealth. Every whisper of healing is a river of life. Every whisper of love is a sun that never sets. Whisper this into your heart, and the pain must leave, the shadows must flee, and you will rise in the radiant glory of your divine inheritance. And now, beloved soul, if these whispers of truth have awakened something within you, if you have felt the power of the word, if you have tasted the freedom of divine law, then I invite you, subscribe to this channel, that the river of truth may continue to flow into your life. Like this video and share it, that others may discover the whisper of God within them. Together we are planting seeds of light into the collective soul of humanity. Together we are whispering a new world into being. Remember always, whisper truth and walk free. Whisper abundance and live rich. Whisper health and shine radiant. Whisper love and dwell in harmony. Whisper peace and rest in God. For the whisper is eternal, and it is yours now.